Okay. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Today is December 6th, and this is the Kubernetes migration working group. And let's get started from the agenda. The first, what has been done, and of course, one big achievement. Last week, we completed the pages migration. So congratulations. It's a great step forward. Okay, move on to what's happening next. Amy, you have the items.
Yes, thank you. So yes, we're just wrapping up on the tidy up of pages, and then we can close out the epic. So we have a couple of things. We do have a bug, so we need to fix stack driver. We don't think it's like critical enough to have triggered a rollback, so we've left it, but we will be fixing that as soon as we can. And then we just have the cleaning up tasks to tear down the old VMs before we close out the epic. When we do close this epic, that is actually the conclusion of the stateless service migration. So big milestone for us on this one.
It's cool. Anything you need help from the development team?
Not at this moment. No, I believe that we should be able to handle this all ourselves.
Cool, thank you. Okay, next one, still yours.
Yeah. So as we conclude on the stateless service migration, we have now just started work. So we're pairing up, delivering and scalability of paired up in Q4, and we're looking at migrating Redises. So the first one we're going to look at is rate limiting, which is one of our most simple Redises. But the goal is to try and kind of understand how to get Redis running safely in Kubernetes. Like the migration is the trickier part rather than the actual operating. And then the goal will be to use Kubernetes to kind of address our Redis scalability concerns. So we're still in the investigation stage. Right now, we do have rate limiting Redis running on Kubernetes and pre. And from there, we can do testing. The main thing we're testing on is performance and just seeing if there's any like slowdown when we run Redis on Kubernetes. But then one of the big areas that is still a little question mark at the moment is the chart. So for now, we're setting things up with the Bitnami chart, but we intend to come back with kind of the requirements of what would it take to get Redis supported in the GitLab chart. And then we can see, like, hopefully that won't be a huge amount of work and we can plan that in. But for now, at least we're using Bitnami.
Cool. Any concerns of using Bitnami charts, Stephen or Jason? Is Jason here?
Yeah,
Jason's here.
And no, I have no concerns. I actually recommended that myself. That is actually how we did the implementation for multiple Redis when we did the actual support for it. I'm still trying to figure out the right safe way to do it in terms of how to have multiple instances of it actually within the primary chart. There's going to be some convoluted logic to make that work.
Mm-hmm. Is there a kind of a plan to get multiple Redis running in the GitLab chart? Like, is that something on the roadmap?
So the functionality to configure it is a part of the chart, but not to deploy it. Right now, we've been holding off on that largely because we actually recommend to not run Redis in Kubernetes. So we've just kind of shied away from actually implementing that functionality within the chart itself, strictly because we say run your state outside.
Cool. Okay, great. So hopefully, yeah, we hope to learn more about how we run Redis, particularly when we go to the slightly more involved ones, and then we can hopefully feed that in.
Cool. We don't have blockers and the discussion item. Amy, you want to verbalize that item?
Yeah, so I was just wondering with the recent Gitly event, whether this has altered our timeline, either brought it forwards or pushed it back around the sort of the testing and I suppose like motivation to migrate Gitly to Kubernetes.
Good question. With all that's going on with Gitly right now, I mean, we've had a large push to get testing done for a couple of our larger customers. We're trying really hard to ensure stability for our customers. I think we made huge strides there. We've done some randomization testing. Tanya and her team have done a great job of helping with that. the teams really work together, but that does mean, yes, it's come at the expense of not working on features this month and minimal progress in other areas, just because we've had some high priority incidents that needed to come first. So I'm hoping to get that work back on track here come the new year. We do have an engineering manager starting as well, so there will be additional support there, which will be great. But yeah, in the last month, we've probably done very little in the way of Kubernetes just because of the incidents that are going on in the testing.
Makes total sense. Yeah.
Sorry,
Go
Amy, for John, who's the SCT for Gitly, this is his top priority since UBS is wrapped up. So I do hope, I see a milestone of 14.6 on there, and I do hope it'll land prior to that.
Perfect.
So I would say in the next 2 weeks or so before the holidays.
Oh, super. Oh, lovely to hear that. Yeah. Brilliant. Do we know, like, is the kind of expectation that having Gitly on Kubernetes would really help with stability? Like, is there more urgency around this?
I don't think we've tied the ability to be running on Kubernetes to stability or not. I think the goal of Kubernetes is primarily that it will allow us to have more deployment, hopefully within GitLab ourselves. We can dog food things easier. And that in and of itself is a very large attraction to us, because a lot of these issues we're having is we're not dog fooding at scale that some of our customers are at, which is an unfortunate situation. So we're finding scalability issues at customer sites. So we would love to get this done, because it does mean hopefully we can start scaling larger at GitLab and we'll be catching things. So there's that motivation, which is why it is a top priority for us when we don't have a customer issue ongoing. So I don't think we're expecting better stability with Kubernetes necessarily. I don't think Kubernetes lends additional stability to the Gitly product, but what it does do is allow us to deploy at scale, and that will help us find issues and increase stability that way.
So the only counter to that one I need to point out is I've seen scalability issues with Gitly. When it goes bad, it goes really bad. So that's why we've explicitly said that we want to get it deployed and we want to load test it with sharding, with prefect, and really see what happens when you push it too far.
Yes.
Because we can't have that happen for .com. Trust me.
Well, we can't have it happen for our large customers either. So we're in a bind where we have to give somewhere. And I understand your concerns. I completely agree with them. But we can't have our customers raising priority ones every 2 weeks either. That's not an unacceptable thing for our business as a whole. It hurts our reputation immensely when our reference customers are raising at P1s all the time. So we have a difficult proposition here. We just need to figure out the balance.
Right. And just to be clear, we're not looking for Gitly in Kubernetes for the sake of being able to scale rapidly. We're explicitly looking for Gitly in Kubernetes to be able to more easily scale.
Agreed.
Okay. So my immediate concern is resource constraints understanding, because the distinct behavior between automating the spin up of additional nodes and spinning up new pods somewhere in a cluster that may compete, you may be caught off guard when that occurs.
Jason, are you alluding to like the whole swap situation?
I'm not even just a swap situation. One of the distinct differences between a VM and a pod in Kubernetes is, yes, memory, right? So there is no swap. And if you go over the expectation or something has higher priority than you, Gitly will be the first to be terminated. Second is actually IOPS, okay? You're competing with everything on that node for IOPS against the disk that you're trying to get to. And no, you can get dedicated NVMe backed storage that has guaranteed IOPS, but the node's kernel still has an upper limit of what it can actually get done, even if you have a large allocation on the remote storage or even the local disk storage. There's still a limit to how much a noisy neighbor can impact that performance.
So are we saying we don't think it's a good idea to put Gitly into Kubernetes?
My long-term statement has been, I can't guarantee the performance behaviors of Gitly in Kubernetes because I don't understand the performance behaviors of Gitly outside of Kubernetes.
I just want to make sure we're not trying to put a square peg in a round hole
Yes,
here.
same.
Kubernetes is fantastic for lots of things, if Gitly is not one of them, then I don't want to waste a ton of time finding that out. I'd rather find that out and then stop. So as long as we're aware of that moving forward, and if we run into a situation where we say this is just a bad fit, let's halt our work here. That's fantastic.
Right. And this
Been a
is
bad
why-
fit so far, but we don't actually know where the squareness of the pegs is. I'm trying to.
we need to find out how
We
much
just know
of
that
square
customers
we
typically,
shave.
yeah.
Yeah, no, that's great. No, and if there's something we can do to help with that, let us know. The thing is, we just want to make sure we're being smart and not wasting anybody's time here, because this is a very important thing to move forward with in lots of ways. There's lots of resources, and obviously we're all resource constrained. So whatever we can do to help is great. If we do find that we're just spinning our wheels, then I think it's time to step back and reevaluate and have that conversation.
So I think the testing is really crucial here. It will tell us something we don't know yet.
Agree.
Correlating that with what incidents we've seen with the customers will help sort of validate that we're testing for the right things, right?
Yeah, the customer incidents wouldn't have been fixed in Kubernetes or not. They were not deployment specific problems per se. They were scalability issues that had to do with lots of things. I don't think having us in Kubernetes or not would have been affected by those. But I do agree that the testing for Kubernetes is important.
Cool. I think, Amy, I think that now the testing is really a prerequisite for moving Gitly over Kubernetes. If it turned out to be a no-go, we may want to revisit this topic further after the testing.
Yeah, I think that makes total sense.
Yeah.
Great, thanks a lot.
Okay, cool. That's all about this topic. The last one is follow-up item. So the listen proxy for the pages that issue, and the MR was up. Thanks for John Scarback. So I think his last comment was this is coming shortly, so we can wait for that.
Yeah, I expect we're not far away. He's probably prioritizing around release management things, but yeah, we're probably hopefully later this week or early next week be able to start this.
Yeah, and my request to the distribution team is to help review the MR, get it merged when it's ready.
Yep, we've already got a folk person on there.
Yep.
Sorry, Jason.
We have reviewed it. The MR does what it says it does. There is, however, a bug in pages. So we have a bit of a problem in that the configuration behaves as designed, and we can prove that it does as designed. However, if you turn it on, it doesn't work. So we're in a bit of a bind in that regard. The MR is ready to go, though.
Okay.
I'm assuming Scarback knows that, right?
I have been in like back-to-backs, even so I haven't gotten to send him a message and be like, here's the depth and breadth of what's going on here. So I apologize.
No worries. I just wanted to. Sounds like you're intending to.
Yeah, like I mean, I totally fine to ping that back, Jason. Like, so Vlad isn't here today, but we've been working directly with Vlad, but also I think other people who know pages who I guess we'll have to go back and ask for a bug fix before we can enable this.
Yeah, it's actually on my plan to go look at the pages code and figure out why this particular behavior is broken, and just be able to pinpoint it for that group to be able to jump on it.
Awesome. If you have time, that would be amazing. If you don't have time, Jason, then I think it's also fine for us to. We do have connections with a few developers who've been working on this who might be able to help us.
Yeah, get an issue up, and I can also coordinate the work with the pages team. Cool. That's the meeting today. Thank you, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your day.